Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into the microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Deus Ex Human Revolution Blind. Now I'm back at the Redford's storage case because I couldn't find the apartment where the old woman Michelle lives, and the quest marker still points at this location, so maybe I missed something here and that's why I can't progress the quest. I read that, and it still it didn't. Oh, apparently I can interact with the freaking photographs, even though I'm sure I moused over them before and it didn't show up. Or maybe it did and I just didn't see it. Maybe I'm just blind. I'll probably review the footage and to see just for myself, but I'm pretty sure, like, I even looked at it like using the actual scope because I was curious about this. Did I really not notice that? That's weird. And kind of annoying. Oh well. And I'm pretty certain that now, presumably the one apartment I couldn't get into is exactly where Michelle lives. I think this should be the right building, right? Yeah, and sure enough, it's even open now. Hello?
Did I leave my door open? Wait, you're not from Rolling Mills. You're too handsome to be from Rolling Mills.
No, I'm not. Mrs. Michelle Walthers, is it? My name's Adam Jensen.
No, you much too old to be him. You must be from Rolling Mills. And please, it's Miss Walters.
Brent Radford sent me. Do you remember him? He's a detective.
Yes, lovely gentleman. He still has my photos of Adam when he was a baby. Oh, could you be a dear and fetch them for me? I forgot who has them, though.
So is that... so I gather this is Jensen's mother, but I'm not sure yet from... Wait, no, I am actually sure. It's his real mother, right? Because his adoptive mother was called something different. I don't remember now, but it wasn't Michelle, I think. So that's definitely interesting. And I guess she seems to think, because obviously she has like dementia or something, she seems to think that Adam Jensen is still a child. You know, she remembers him as he used to be, and she thinks that this man is far too old to be him.
Are these the photographs?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I haven't seen Adam Jensen in such a long time. Forever, it seems. Such a happy baby.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to learn more.
Miss Walters, can you tell me about the boy in those photos?
The boy in those photos? Adam. Tragic, really, what happened to his parents. His real parents.
His real parents?
They died in that fire. Horrible, really. I was there. At least those other cribs were empty. I only had to save Adam.
Mrs. Walters, I really need you to focus. What are you talking about?
Why, I already told that nice detective all this already. About the experiments and the fire at White Helix Labs. We knew Adam was special. That's why his parents started the fire, so they didn't do the same thing to the next batch of babies.
So Adam's real parents were trying to protect him. But from what?
Why, from the conspiracy, of course. But I've said too much. Would you be a dear now and go fetch my dinner?
Well, so I guess I was wrong. It's not actually his birth mother, but she isn't his adoptive mother either. It's an employee of White Helix Labs that saved him from the fire that destroyed it. That's why she has a different name than Adam's adoptive mother. And I guess what she said, his real parents, that's kind of twisted, but I guess they wanted to kill themselves and him as a baby because they were afraid that because of the unique condition that he exhibited towards the augmentations, he would that Versalife would use that and experiment upon more babies later on. So they preferred that they all died instead of serving as inspiration and as material for those experiments, I guess. Let's inquire further.
Miss Walters, please. I know it was a while ago, and remembering all the details might be hard, but do you think you can try and focus for a minute? What did you tell the detective?
Well, Mr. Radford and I spoke about many, many things. But don't you have meals to deliver? And where is my dinner?
I wonder if I can persuade her to tell me more without using the pheromones.
Miss Walters, please. I know.
Well...
Well, I don't exactly have any food to give her, because she thinks I'm a delivery person. It's not like I can just bring her something from her own fridge. Though I guess maybe I could, because after all, she isn't fully cognizant of the situation. But what I think is the game won't actually let me do that, and I am afraid that if I choose this, it'll close the conversation entirely and will not let me return to it. So I am kind of considering using the pheromones, but to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to the personality types this time. Yeah, this
Miss Walters.
just repeats. Okay, I think... Damn it. Okay, I'll choose leave. Maybe I'll be able to... Maybe she'll interject and ask me to do something for her. Because usually there are different ways. You don't have to use the pheromones. There is usually like a task you can do for the quest giver, so to persuade them. But I am afraid it'll end the quest. But as I said, I wasn't paying attention to this, so even if I used the pheromones, it would be kind of random. Okay.
Thank you for your time, Miss Walters.
Oh, before I forget, if you see Adam, could you please give him this? It's for all the birthdays and Christmases I've missed. I've been saving them.
Oh. I can't take it from an old woman living alone. Keep it.
You've done enough for him, Mrs. Walters. I'm sure he'd want you to keep the money.
So nice of you. Like Mr. Radford and Adam. You know, They called him a genetic marvel. He was ahead of his time. They was hoping to tear out so much from his DNA, but we stopped him. Oh, yes, we did. Oh, hello, dear. Is it dinner time already?
Okay, so I'm kind of confused because at first I thought that the whole life story of Jensen is neatly interwoven with VersaLife's influence, up to even this very point, and that the fact that he worked at, well, maybe not work at Serif, but what I mean is I thought that they were sort of controlling him, or at least checking up on him well into his adult years, and that the fire wasn't really, obviously they didn't foresee that, but I didn't think it destroyed their plans. But it seems, at least from her perspective, which I understand she's not exactly a reliable narrator in that entirely, because she's a little bit senile, but it seems that the fire and the subsequent destroying of the records and giving Jensen away to an adoptive family was done in an attempt to cut off the ties with VersaLife and to cut off their access to Jensen. So maybe it actually succeeded, and his life onwards from the point he was adopted was not influenced by them. I guess I'm going to learn more at some point, because obviously VersaLife, the Illuminati, whatever, what else? Picus is a subsidiary of the Illuminati and all that. It's all integral to the plot of this game, and I'm sure it's going to be crucial for some plot reveals later on. But it was overall a nice talk, although I'm kind of wondering now what she could have told me, what more she could have told me if I used the pheromones, but I guess it's too late for that now. So I just wanted to check if maybe she has a computer, but apparently not. Okay, so bye.
Pritchard, I need you to assign a temporary security detail to an apartment on Brooklyn Court until I can figure out a more permanent solution. The woman's name is Walters, Michelle Walthers.
Security detail? What the hell, Jensen? Who is this woman?
She's family, but she's vulnerable. I'll explain later. Just do this for me, please. And not a word to Seraph. Can I trust you on this, Pritchard?
Christ, Jensen. All right. I'll do it. But there better be a damn good reason for this.
Okay, that's actually very nice.
I'll fill you in next time I see you. But right now I need to get back to work. And Pritchard, thanks.
Yeah.
That's actually very nice of Jensen, and kind of touching. It was a really nice side quest. I'm glad that I did that. Before I go to the convention center to confront Taggart, I will go and buy the other Praxis Kit.
Will you be purchasing anything today?
Yep.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Now, I do have a couple of those. 3, in fact. What should I upgrade? I've discussed how hacking is pretty much... I've got everything I want to out of this. Typhoon is useless. This is kinda meh. I think I might get the see-through walls argument maybe. It's kind of useful for stealth. Reduced recoil is not useful to me at all because the weapons I use, the tranquilizer rifle and the stun gun, don't really have recoil. Though I guess this would protect me from toxic gas. It is kinda useful. It did feature in some of the boss fights so far, but I guess out of the two, this is just more interesting. And the other point, I guess maybe more inventory? I already appreciate the added inventory, or maybe sprint. Okay, this I guess would complement the stealth. I'll get this. At this point, I'm pretty close to maxing out most of the things I would ever need or want, to be honest, because many of them I just find useless or next to useless. Out of the things I would ever want are like those over here. This I consider to be pretty much useless. This is situational and not that useful, I think. This is also pretty useless. So it leaves me with maxing out this, and then maybe something from this tree. So let me check. Okay, so F3 is the see behind walls, and F4 then would be the silent movement. I will have to remember to use those. I am really bad with micro in games, you know. In the heat of the moment, I often forget to utilize my various abilities. That's why I like passive augmentations, even though I know they are not as impressive and not as cool. I think the convention center... Can I even go through here though? Yeah, that's the convention center. So... okay, there was a staircase here the entire time. I was initially confused by this, because I thought there was like a wall separating this whole area, but it's just the side of the staircase.
Everything seems to be under control in the convention center.
And Taggart?
He's on stage now. His protection is deep. Only those with VIP passes can get by the guards.
We'll just stay here and make sure none of those hooligans try to sneak in the back door.
They say, Justice Jensen. Oh, I've actually been here before. Just this part was like closed off. There were some gangbangers nearby. I don't think this leads anywhere apart from just the bathrooms, but I'll check just to be safe, because it might be maybe like a new vent opened up. Well, it didn't. Room 2005, invitation only. So clearly I'm supposed to find a back door of some sort. Meeting hall. Main hall.
I know you probably don't agree with what Mr. Taggart has to say, but you can't deny that he's a powerful speaker.
And again, those interferences, it has happened once when I was exiting Jensen's apartment already.
I don't know how it started.
And I am very much interested to see if it's like foreshadowing for the eventual taking over of the augmentations by through some kind of a backdoor that was installed when Jensen first got them, because it's a concept that very much interests me as a potential plot point, and I'm sort of eager to see that explored. I've already talked about that at length in some of the previous episodes, although I am kind of weirded out by the fact that Jensen apparently doesn't care. He doesn't think that's weird. He doesn't comment. He doesn't like call Pritchard and get a checkup or something. That's weird.
Bill is really changing the world for the better.
Or changing it back to what it used to be. To before these people started poisoning their bodies. Or to use his words, their divine engines.
See, I have no problem with amputees wanting to get augmentations.
Especially our soldiers. That's the least they deserve after defending our country. Like Taggart's patient Ezekiel.
Right. And what happened to Ezekiel? He got himself a new limb that sent him into a spiral of despair because of the drugs. Essentially, what Bill Taggart is asking is, do we really want to have a world filled with addicts being forced to pay exorbitant amounts of money to a bunch of corporate neuropozyne pushers?
I just don't get why certain people have this loony idea that augmentations will make the world better.
Well, as you can see by what's going on out there, I have a lot of work to do to convince the world.
Yeah, I guess the neuropoison itself is kind of is a point that you have to consider when talking about the augmentations, and maybe something I neglected to properly evaluate when talking about it earlier. But in general, I definitely find myself more on the side of pro-augmentation. I just don't think it should be totally uncontrolled.
And I don't blame them. I blame people like Taggart. People who are constantly trying to divide us by our differences instead of uniting us by our similarities. Listen, I've been a victim of this anti-aug backlash. I was attacked simply for having been to a limb clinic by people who were not augmented, people with an axe to grind. And do you know who saved me? An augmented man, a stranger. So you tell me where the real danger comes from.
Was that me?
The Humanity Front is just that. A front. A front for hate-mongering and William Taggart's irrational need to keep us in the Dark Ages. I'm not here to tell you that augmentations will make the world a better place. I'm here to stand up for my right to choose. When Hugh Darrow discovered the secret of augmentation, he gave us the chance to better ourselves, to reach for limits that we couldn't even imagine before. Well, you've just heard William Taggart speak, and isn't he a smooth talker? He doesn't want you to better yourselves. He wants to limit you. He wants the government to have jurisdiction over your body. You want to get augmented? Oh, no. I'm sorry, but we're not gonna let you. You're not gonna let me? Ha! And do you know how he's gonna influence legislation? How he's going to convince you this is really what you want? With fear! He's already started! Look outside, in our streets,
Okay, she's already started to repeat herself.
I blame people like
William
Taggart.
Taggart is a visionary. How can you not see that? He's the protector of the human race.
I just can't subscribe to Taggart's Neanderthal opinions. It's like he thinks human development is a sin.
I can't believe there are still people out there with such backward mentalities.
This UN resolution he wants passed is persecution, plain and simple.
Agreed. He loves to claim over and over again what a peaceful organization Humanity Front is. But just look outside. In a non-direct way, he's promoting this kind of reaction.
Well, there have always been nuts like Taggart trying to stop human progress. But by the end of the day, the human need to explore always wins out. He'll be a relic in no time.
I hope you're right. I'm just wondering when Hugh Darrow is going to come out of his shell and take a position. It seems like this whole resolution is on hold until he speaks up.
I really hope that Taggart is going to present some more nuanced arguments than just this whole spiel about the how sacred the human body is and whatever, you know, metaphysical, almost borderline theological arguments, which I don't buy for a split second.
I don't agree with you, miss.
I'm not getting hot. It just frustrates me how some of you pro-humanists act so superior. Like you have all the answers to every ethical question ever posed.
Well, who are you to think you can just turn yourself into robots, abuse drugs, and then think you can function freely in our society?
You and that asshole Taggart just try to take away my freedom and see what happens.
There's a riot going on somewhere near the Seraph building.
Yeah, I saw that. I want to explore the rest of the building before going into the actual room where Taggart is speaking, especially because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to go up front. You'd think they would probably stop me. I'm not really authorized to do that. Okay, but this just leads back down the escalators that I saw before. So I guess there is nothing left to explore.
Ah, hello. It is very commendable when someone like you shows interest in our work.
Well, have a nice day.
You think they would actually work and not just sit there looking good? Damn budget cuts.
So I guess that is everything. Well, I guess frontal approach it is then. Oh, maybe not quite, because that's...
Yeah, backstage area is completely blocked off. Even the janitor can't get back there now.
What about the air vents?
You're kidding, right? Have you seen the size of those vents? You expect a contortionist or midget is going to try to assassinate Taggart?
Don't get smart.
We wait and see, actually. You just wait and see. And backstage. Okay, I might have to utilize the cloak. Not sure at which point they will become alerted. I guess there's probably a vent in the bathroom. Yep. Even two vents actually. Although I guess they probably converge. Yep.
watch these cowards with masks throwing rocks.
I believe in their cause, though. I don't feel like being a slave to a bunch of super soldiers of 5 years.
Augmented super soldiers. Just minutes ago, Zhao Yunru, CEO of the Taiyong Medical Corporation,
I want the world to know that we at Taiyong Medical have not and never will condone these experiments. This company prides itself on maintaining a safe environment.
Not quite sure.
Any idea how long before the speech is over?
Not too long now. I'll escort Taggart backstage and you make sure nobody tries to sneak in.
I'll take a walk and make sure everyone else is in position.
Okay, so I guess he's finishing, and I'll have the chance to ambush him backstage, which is a bit of a pity because I would actually like to listen to his speech. Maybe it'll give me like bullet points later on TV. But I'm not sure where I'm supposed to exit. This doesn't look like a good place. There are a lot of enemies. I guess it's a good moment to maybe use this. I can't decide where I should get off the vent. This definitely doesn't look like a good place. Okay, this is the closest to my objective. I think there's actually a wall separating this place from those people. So, although it's probably still safe to cloak, at least initially. So I am going to eat one of those. Cloak, drop, and try to orientate. Yeah, it's a different room. I don't see any cameras. Okay, let's check the computers here. That's Taggart's personal computer, actually.
Access granted.
Seraph, Sandoval's in Detroit. Holed up in some apartment building on Grand River Road. I'm heading there now.
Alright. But Adam, you think Taggart's involved?
There's no hard evidence yet to prove it.
Too bad. But you know there could be. If you upload that data recording you got in Montreal onto his computer...
You're asking me to frame him?
We could lose everything, Adam, given the mood out there. We may have to get our hands dirty to fix it. Why, you got a problem with that?
Actually, yes.
Yes, I do.
Alright. It was just a thought. Seraph out.
I want to be certain they're involved before, you know, actively punishing them for that. And if it turned out they aren't, and I framed them, it could pretty much destroy their lives. Okay, so that's about Sandoval's. About Sandoval's whereabouts. Your book changed my life. Okay, this is stupid because this, being fat and feeling unattractive, really has nothing to, well, at least very little to do with cybernetic augmentations, and very much to do with a simple plastic surgery, which is available even nowadays. And like, if Taggart really claims that even plastic surgery makes you less of a human and, I don't know, tarnishes your perfect human form or whatever, then he's just a weirdo and a nutjob. Because, like, again, there are different levels of this. I could understand somebody was being anxious about those very deep cybernetic augmentations, that actually interfere with your brain and change the way your nervous system works. But things like correcting the way your face looks or something, what does that even have to do with anything? To oppose that is like silly and kind of, again, to me, this whole argument about how the human form is sacred and you cannot change it and you cannot interfere with the way we are, it's very egocentric and it's selfish, I feel, because Taggart is a highly successful, wealthy, fully abled man who's famous and who has access to everything he wants. So for him, it's very easy to say, oh, don't change your body because blah 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 blah. But there are millions of people in very difficult life situations that could benefit greatly from, plastic surgery, augmentations, prostheses, things like that. And it's straight up cruel to me to tell them, oh, suck it up, you're in your current situation, your body is beautiful just the way it is, when sometimes, like, I'm not even saying, because again, there is an important distinction, well, maybe not important, but a distinction to make between, I don't know, getting breast implants because you want to have larger breasts, which I personally don't have any problem with, but there is this. But there are also cases like, for example, your face is severely deformed because of a birth defect or an accident. For example, you don't have a nose or something, and you want to get plastic surgery to fix that. And for a man like Taggart, to say it's bad, it's just, I can't really respect that. Like over here, she says, I wanted to poison my body, deform it and pollute it with foreign elements. This is just stupid. Like, if it really would make you feel better, if it really would make you appreciate your own body more, then what's the harm in that? Like, there are, if you go this anarcho-primitivism route all the way, then you would have to say pacemakers. They are actual machines that you put inside people. And if we went the route of Taggart's augmentation, anti-augmentation, argumentation, at least judging from what I've read so far, as I said, I haven't heard his full expose on the subject, but if we applied that fully, then we would have to say that people with pacemakers should have them taken out because they've polluted their natural bodies with foreign elements or whatever. And if somebody needs a pacemaker, then they pretty much can't live without it. Like, you're pretty much telling those people you're better off dead than using advanced technology to better your life. This is just stupid. This whole email is stupid, and this whole angle of the debate is stupid, and I really hope that there's something more to Taggart's position, and it's going to be explored at some point, because to be honest, to me, one of the best angles so far was back in Hengsha. there were two side quests. One of them was about how people fetishize augmentations, so some escorts were being forced to get augmented against their will because it would bring in more money. So that was interesting. And also there was this side quest about a girl who came from like a very poor family, and she studied very hard and tried to do her best and was really good at her job, but even then she couldn't quite compete with all of the rich kids who got their parents to buy them all of those expensive augmentations, and they got an edge simply because of the fact that they were wealthy and they could afford better equipment that you couldn't really match, no matter how long or how hard you studied naturally. That was a much more interesting point to me than any of this. So yeah, I guess this is my my point exactly. Does he really have 12 wives, or is it just you know, random insult over him being religious? I guess maybe he'll respond. Ah, he's a Mormon. It annoys me that he doesn't elaborate upon his views here. Like, he just says, read my book, and I would very much like to do that as a player, but I'm not sure if I will ever be given a chance, because he seems to allude to some things like psychological problems, and, you know, dealing with augmentations, and it is an interesting angle to take. There are certain analogies you can already make in the current timeline. For example, very extreme body modification, you know, where people like get subdermal implants to grow horns or whatever, and things like that, you know, and or very intense scarification, and they can come to regret that after some time. And it can be difficult, but that's not, like, that's missing the point entirely to me, because just because somebody regrets that they did it, or just because somebody had some problems that somehow relate to the fact that they did it, isn't a good enough reason to forbid everyone from doing that. We should educate people, we should provide them with the more accurate information about the various things they can do to themselves, and we should provide them with like psychological help and all that, but that doesn't equate to me to like a ban. That there are a lot of things that I personally don't agree with, and that I personally wouldn't ever try. For example, this very heavy body modification is one of those things I would never, I never thought about, and I would never consider like growing horns by using subdermal implants. And to be honest, if I had to be 100% sincere, I would have to say that I find them unattractive, and that I think that some of those people went too far. And I think they looked perfectly normal before, and afterwards it's kind of difficult to look at them. But for me, that's not a good enough reason to A, ban that, or B, to think of those people as anything less. I don't think they are like immoral for doing that, or that they are wrong for doing that. I just personally don't I personally don't understand why they do it. I personally don't like the effects of that, but I think they should be free to have the opportunity to do it if they want. For some reason, even if I don't understand that, they do feel better, more comfortable, more interesting to themselves after they do it, and it's a value in it of itself. So yeah, I'm kind of annoyed at the scarcity of information the game gave me so far about Taggart's position, but what I've seen doesn't convince me, like, in the slightest. And that's William Taggart. Okay, that's, I guess, can be somewhat incriminating, combining it with the previous things I found. It's something about getting caught. We have to act now. We have to secure this. So that would be talking about the breakthrough that Megan made, right? But I'm not sure who that is. And another one of those scammer emails. Okay, an abstract for a resolution. Biopolitic vote is a referendum, regulation distribution of human augmentation technologies. Now, in itself, disregarding the levels of corruption and the freaking straight up Illuminati influence in the Deus Ex universe, by itself, I don't think it's a horrendously bad idea. I definitely think there should be some regulation regarding human augmentation. I'm just not sure how expansive should that be. Like, in general, I am definitely a proponent of free market, but I'm not an extreme laissez-faire proponent, because there's just huge potential for abuse. But then on the other hand, there is also a huge potential for abuse, not to mention a huge potential for failure if there's too much state interventionism. So it's a very difficult debate, but in principle, I'm not against having some regulation over the human augmentation. But I guess, again, this is woefully what's the word? Vague, and it doesn't really tell me the contents of this proposed regulation, which I guess might be the point. It might be deliberately formed in a vague way so that the elites and the government and the Illuminati controlling everything, they have the most leeway influencing that. Some money. Okay, I'll hack this just to disable the nearest camera.
Come on, come on!
So this leads me back to...
Jensen? I almost didn't recognize you. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, what are the chances? Do you remember me? I was a rookie when you still rolled in SWAT.
Nikki. Of course I remember you. How you been? The brass got you on ride control too?
Yeah, I am. Or I was until... Damn it. Look, something big is going down, and I'm kind of freaking out here. You remember that MCBer, Jacob White? You busted him a couple of times.
Yeah, I remember him. Assault and possession. He's still running rackets?
No, I mean, yeah, shit, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because he's moved on to bigger things.
Nikki, slow down.
Listen, hear me out. I just got word he has his hands on some real military-grade explosives. The prick's got a fucking bomb, Adam. And you know how much he hates the PD. He's going to hit us while we have our pants down with the riots. You gotta help us out here.
Nikki, I'm kind of busy. If he's got a bomb, just call it in and follow procedure.
What do you think I've been doing? I've been on the horn all night, and my CO already sent a patrol over to Jacob's house. We've got a warrant, so they searched the place, but nothing came up, not even Jacob. Now they're saying my CI is probably full of shit and just fucking with me. Bullshit! Jacob's using the riots as cover, and he's going to hit us, and hit us hard. Adam, I need you to trust me on this. You gotta help me find Jacob.
What is it exactly that you need me to do?
You mean you'll help me out? Really?
I didn't say that. Assuming I did agree to help, what would you need me to do exactly?
Oh. Well, based on Jacob's history and his new political agenda, I can almost guarantee he's going after cops. I've warned everyone working street detail and anyone else who'd listen to keep an eye out. But with half the force tied up with the protests and rioting, I can't get the manpower for a proper search. I need you to check a few spots my CI thinks Jacob could be at, and take care of the threat if you can. Even if you find nothing, great. It put my mind at ease, at least.
Okay. I'm interested in doing that, but I'm not sure if that's going to interfere with my main quest. Like, you'd imagine if I wait too long, then Taggart is probably going to leave, but that wouldn't... because they said earlier he's pretty close to finishing his speech, and he's not going to stay at the convention center forever. But I guess it's a game, so the game is probably going to wait for me, although I'm, again, not sure, because this game actually threatened me a couple of times with consequences if I don't do it, something in some time frame, and I have no idea of knowing if those are genuine threats or, you know, just window dressing.
How did White even manage to get his hands on explosives?
My source says he got the bomb materials from some government stash out in Highland Park. It's all I know so far. But it all fits! He was last seen ranting at a rally about shattering the foundation of the hypocrisy or some bullshit like that. You know, quoting Che Guevara and talking about violent revolution.
Did he have the shirt, too?
What? Anyway, he practically named the date and time of this reckoning. And it's tonight. It has to be.
So why is it nobody trusts your source?
He used to run with White's old crew, but he's a 3-strike pert facing a dime on some damn parole violation. He's trying to cop a deal, so nobody trusts him. Thing is, I know he's reliable. He hasn't bullshitted me yet, and I don't think he's doing it now.
I have to admit, Nikki, I'm having a hard time believing White could come up with something like this. He can barely tie his own shoelaces without tripping all over himself.
That was then. This is now. After his last stint in Standish, he got bug-eyed crazy. Started talking about how the gang war in Derelict Row was all part of a government plot, and it's time he did something about it.
I remember him saying that augmented kid we took down last year was a cover-up.
Exactly! And he's been railing against Wayne Haas, the PD, and anyone else involved in that ever since. I'm telling you, Adam, he's been getting more and more violent. Now he's got explosives, and we've got a giant bullseye painted on our ass.
Okay, that's definitely worth investigating. Worst case scenario, we just waste some time, but best case scenario, you stop a dangerous terrorist attack where many people could die in an explosion.
Fine, I'll help. Let's go over what we know. Just the facts.
What we know? Just the facts? What we know is he's certified batshit crazy, hates cops, quotes Che Guevara, and got his hands on military-grade explosives. What more do you need to know? Oh, Christ, man. I've got nobody to help me, and I can't even breathe. How am I supposed to find this guy? The bomb could be right under us, right now!
Okay, this guy is really, agitated.
Nikki, relax. Keep it together.
I'm trying, Adam. I don't think I'm cut out for this kind of stuff. People could die. We could die.
Just focus, okay? We know that White hates cops, so his first target is probably gonna be the precinct or somewhere nearby. Make sense?
Yeah, okay. But it could be anywhere. He wouldn't risk going to the precinct. Too many people would recognize him. That leaves the transit station, the sewers, and the alleys around the precinct. Look, I need to stay here and report any leads to my CO. Can you check those locations for Jacob? Or his bomb?
No problem. Anything else you can give me?
I don't know. You remember what White looks like, right? Tall, Caucasian, skinhead? He's not the quietest guy, so you'll probably hear him before you see him.
Yeah, a real philosopher king. I remember.
Yeah, so if you just keep your eyes and ears open, I'm sure you'll find him. Also, I heard he's had some major augmentation work done. I'd be extra careful around him. I think the White we used to know has been replaced with something much worse.
Got it.
I know it's a long shot, but I'm hoping we get backup to expand the search. In the meantime, we can check those areas, and who knows, maybe we'll catch a break. Oh, and Jensen, please don't turn him into a martyr. I'd prefer him breathing.
Okay, I was not going to kill him anyway. I must admit I'm a little confused, because I'm pretty certain he wasn't here earlier, and I'm back at the entrance to the convention center. I am going to investigate that. Wait, so am I not confronting Taggart at all? I guess I'm just supposed to find Sandoval. I'm a little... I know where he is now, but... I wonder if it could have been done directly, like if I went into the room while he was speaking, if I could have talked with him, because I'm very much interested in talking with him, but I guess that's over yet. I've done it the other way. And I'm definitely going to do that. It seems, pretty urgent and important. But this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to save here. And that's all for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!